Well, thank you everybody for being here today. Today's the React Native workshop. So we're going to go over how to build a mobile app using React Native, TypeScript, and React hooks. We're doing that because basically Facebook is moving that direction. Because they used to be like, you could build React Native apps using classes and just using classes and JavaScript. But Facebook is moving away from that. And so this is what you'll see and you'll find in industry people implementing their React Native applications. And so the first thing that I want to do is go over the tentative lesson plan. So we're going to just do like a quick overview of TypeScript, NPM package manager, and then we're going to set up our TypeScript project. TypeScript is just a superset of JavaScript. I think the biggest advantage of TypeScript is that it provides type checking. In JavaScript, you can pretty much do whatever you want at all times, and it's not going to complain about it. But you can't do that with TypeScript. So if you have a function that's expecting a string, TypeScript is going to check that that the variable that you're passing into that function is a string. So you can't just pass like an integer or an object or anything like that. So it's pretty useful when you're building up larger scale applications, and it's more readable. There's so many advantages to it. The other one is the other thing that we can go over is the NPM package management. So when we're installing our application and when we're working with React Native, there's also a lot of outside third-party libraries that we're going to be utilizing. And the way to install that into our app is to use a package manager, in this case, NPM. And that's just pretty much it for those two. Now we're going to go ahead and set up our app. For that, we're going to go over to the official setup documentation. So throughout this whole session, I'm going to be using all the official documentation. I have a couple GitHub repos that I'm going to be referencing to from previous projects because I don't have anything memorized or anything off the top of my head. So there's going to be a lot of looking up in Google and such. I have a Windows and I basically work with Android, so that's what I'm going to be doing that today. But if you have a Mac, you can also set up for Mac. And ideally, since we're all should be on the same page, let's just work with an Android platform. For that, we're going to have to also install Android Studio. So let's get going. The first thing that we're going to do is install this node JDK. So we're going to copy and paste this. It's telling me that I need to go into the command prompt and run it as administrator. I already did all this, but I'm just going to do it anyways. So it's telling me that it's already installed, but for you, if you're doing this like for the first time, it might take a little bit. So you guys want me to wait for that to go through, or are you good?
No questions?
Yeah.
So it's on there. It's Expo or React Native.
Oh, my bad. Yes. So you normally have two options. So you can use Expo, which is like a third-party library that will basically build everything for you. But in this case, since we need the emulator to show what's going on, we're going to set it up with the React Native CLL quick start. And I honestly I never used Expo before, so I'm not sure how good. It's not bad. Okay. I had to try it out once. Okay, cool. So once you get through this part, installing Chocolate, we're gonna go down and then we need to install Android Studio. So I already have Android Studio set up, but if you guys don't, go ahead and set it up now. Let me just open up Android Studio, gonna show what it looks like. You might get like a different version. I think this is a version before the newer one. All right, so now Android Studio first time that you get into it, it might take you to this section, which is the SDK manager. And that's where you want to be in order to like set up all the dependencies that React Native is going to ask you to have. So those are the Android SDK, the Android SDK platform, the Android virtual device. And then once you select and click on all this, then we'll go into the next step, which is going to be install the Android SDK. Okay, so hopefully you'll get to the screen that looks like this. And then the next thing will be to install the Android SDK. This screen is like outdated. Where you're in there, what we're looking for is the SDK platforms. So that will be this one right here. So SDK platforms. And here are the different packages that Android provides for us. And the one that React Native wants is this one right here, Android 12, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, so Android 12s. And we need to select the Android SDK platform 13 as API 13. And then either Intel 86 or Google's API Intel x86. So that'll be this one and then this one right here. Once you have those selected, you'll click apply or next, whatever will be next. Okay, yeah, so it will be apply. And then the next thing is to configure the Android home environment variable. So for that, you have to go into control panel. I'm actually going to close this out for a second. So let me go to control panel. I'm just move it on the side for now. So we have a double screen. Okay, so from here, we have to go to user accounts. And then we're going to click the user accounts again. And the one that we want to go into is to change my environment variables. Here, Andrew's React Native is going to ask you to create a new variable. So we will click on new. You'll give it a name, Android home. And then the value, the variable value should be this one right here. You can just copy and paste it into there. Or if you know exactly where what your username is, you can also do this. So user / your name, app data, local is Android SDK. So that works as well. But I think this should be good. I think I did that like this before. All right. So once you have that set up, the next thing is to check if you actually have that path added. So we're gonna open PowerShell real quick. So for this, we're gonna copy and paste this command right here. Get something /. And when we're in here, we're looking for that Android home tag, which should be right here. So Android home, and that's our SDK. So if you get to there, then you're good to go. Get some questions in the chat. All right. The next thing is going to be add platform tools to the pad. So that'll be back to this screen. And then we're looking for this pad, this variable paths. And it's asking us to click edit. And then here, we're going to add this. So you'll click like a new button, and then you'll copy and paste this whole thing and put it into there. So I already have it in here. So look at app data /Android /SDK /platform tools. And that is basically all the backend setup for React Native. And now that we have all that, we can go ahead and set up a project. Close all this. Oh, if you are doing this, if you are downloading Android Studio for the very first time, what you want to do is set up an emulator. So for that, we go into Virtual Manager. And then right here, you'll create a device. So I already have one here. So you can pick anything you want. Android gives you a lot of different options. If you want to do, I don't know, if you want to do Pixel 3, just click on next. And then the API that usually works fine is with 30. You can also do 31 because that's what React Native wants you to do too, but 30 works pretty fine, pretty okay. But yeah, you can do 31 as well. You'll have to download this image too. And so once you're there, you'll click on next and then give it a name. Usually I don't change the name, I just keep it the same. And then just click finish. That'll install your virtual emulator. You don't have to run it right now, but you'll need it there so that when we run the React Native app, it'll run for you automatically. There. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much the setup. Is anybody setting up right now as we're doing it? No, we're good. You are? Okay, you're still downloading. Okay, awesome. Cool. All right. Where are you? Are you doing Android or are you still understood? Okay, yeah, that's gonna take some time. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Good stuff. All right. All right, so while we're waiting for the download, let's go ahead and just run through what we're going to do today. Let's see. I'm just going to switch over to the computer because that's what I have all that set up. Oh, but you know what? I don't think the Zoom is going to be able to see that. Never mind. I guess I'll just go through here. All right. So while I'm doing this, this part will be pretty much an app overview. So we're going to talk about wireframes and color palettes. When you're designing an application, you shouldn't go in blind and just figure it out as you go. You need like a wireframe. A wireframe is just like a design of different screens that your app is going to have. And so what we're going to do today is this app called My Drinking Pal. my drinking bowl is going to give you, it's going to give you like different recipes, different drink recipes. So we're going to use an API to search for recipes. And basically this is how it's looking like. My color palette for this is just black and white, really. I didn't want to add any more because that's just time consuming. But actually, no, I do have a color palette. So it just be like white, this color right here, and then I have like a purple color somewhere in here, yeah. So that's basically all that there is to it. This is a very simple UI design because I didn't want to spend too much time on UI. I want to concentrate more on the backend stuff of building the app. But this is basically the progression. We're going to start here, the login screen. Then from there, we move on to the sign up screen. And the home screen, we're going to have like all these different buttons where if you click on it, it'll give you like a list of recipes based on the category. So if you click on beer, it'll give you like 10 different beers. If you click on, I don't know, like shot, it'll give you like 10 different shots. Then we're also going to have this search screen where for now, we'll set it up to you. You can search to it by drink name, but the API also provides us some codes to where we can search by ingredient, so where we can search by ID, a bunch of other different codes that we can use. And we're going to use a filter to like pick between those two. That's actually going to be a stretch code because I haven't implemented something like that before, but if we get to it, that would be great. Then we have a profile screen where we'll have like the information, last name, and then just like a logo in there. Then we have the logout. And right here, we have what we're going to do with this. We're going to make it like into a pop-up screen where if you click on a recipe card, this is what it should show up. And when you're clicking on a category, then that should take you here, where it'll give you like a bunch of different options based on that. The different APIs that we're going to be using is the cocktail DB, cocktail DB. Are you guys familiar how API works before I go on APIs? Yeah, they're very good. Okay. Yeah, so this is the API call endpoints that we're going to be utilizing. This is for free. This is our public, so we don't have to pay for it. Basically, what we're going to do, we'll make a call to this API endpoint, and then that's going to send us back. Some data that we're going to be using to populate our UI. There you go. So we go up to there. This is what this endpoint returns. And so we're going to parse through all this data, and then we're just going to grab the stuff that we want. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of work to do in the backend to accomplish that. All right, so yeah, that's how our Figma is. Like I said, make sure you construct some type of Figma. It doesn't have to be like amazing. It's just something that you know exactly what you need to do. Okay, so that was basically wireframe and color palettes. Let's go ahead and set up our actual project. All right, so I'm going to go into VS Code. So that's my preferred text editor. I was already playing with this earlier, so I'm just going to close this folder. I'm going to create a brand new project from scratch. And it could all be done through in here. So we're going to open up a terminal in Visual Studio Code. And we're going to follow the instructions that React Native provides for us on how to create a brand new project. Where is that? It's right here. So once we go through all the installation process, this is the one command that we need to do. npx React Native, yada, 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 at latest. So what this is going to do is going to give us the latest version. So right now we're at version 0.7. And what's really special about this version, it's like React has provided first-class support to TypeScript. So the default language now is not JavaScript, but is 100% TypeScript. Okay, so this is the command that we're going to utilize. So I'm going to call this app my drinking pal, because that's the name of the app. My drinking pal. We're going to give it the name my drinking pal. Okay, cool. First time that you do this is going to take some time. So we just have to wait a little bit until it goes through. Well, what we're waiting for that, this is like the big difference between functional components, because this is what we're going to do instead of class components. The class components is usually how it looks like. It looks like a regular Java class almost. Actually, no, not even like a Java class. It just looks really strange to me. But the difference between classes and functional components is like you can't use React hooks with class components. That's not how that works. And so that's why we're kind of moving away from class components, because it's just kind of limited. Okay, let's see how that project's going. All right, cool. My project has been successfully created. What I'm going to do is from within Visual Studio Code, I'm just going to go open up my folder. My drinking bottle. There you go. All right, and here's our the front app that the TSX. That's where we're going to be. This is the place where the app will start from. You see that there's everything's done in TypeScript. So number JavaScript for that. So let's run our project just to see how it looks like. So once we're in our folder, my drinking pal, the React provides some commands that we can will get the app going. The first one is the npx React Native store. So right off the bat, we are given a package manager, which is npx, but there's a shortcut to that, and you can see that through your package.json. So the package.json contains all the information about your dependencies, the different libraries and modules that your project is using. And it also gives you some scripts. So scripts, if you hover to it, it's just they're commands. They're hash script commands that will do things for you. And so if I wanted to start up the app, have it running, I can just say npm, that's our package manager, npm run. That's usually how it goes, npm run, and then the name of your script. So in this case, I want to run Android. So it's going to run this script right here. So if I do npm run Android, it should get my application up and running. And minimize this, and then hopefully the only later will start to appear. There's a bunch of windows that are going to open by themselves. This is the Metro builder. This is just basically what it does is packs all of our JavaScript files, and then just does a lot of backend work for us that we don't really care about, or we don't need to be concerned about. All right, cool. So here's our React app up and running. The cool thing about this is like it'll refresh automatically whenever you make a change. So we don't really want all this stuff. Get rid of that. This section thing, get rid of that. And you'll notice that whenever we take out something that doesn't make sense or that is functional to the app, it's gonna like break the whole thing. So what I want is this app thing right here. So this is where everything, this is the place that our app will run from, but I don't want all this craziness. We can get rid of this. We can take this off. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's why I'm trying to erase everything. Because whenever you create a React Native app, it doesn't like let you start off with nothing. So this is the manual. This is like the manual way of doing it. We just like to take out all that. The same thing happens when you create like a regular React app on the web. It gives you like that weird template. You just gotta take it off. All right, so we're completely clean. So you see this red wiggly lines. Now the React Native app already comes in with some prettier and ESLint files. These are rules that basically takes care of the formatting of your application. Because if it were bare bones without any of this, you could just do whatever you want on it, and then it would not complain. But that's good. That's better. Okay, cool. Now that we're there, we can actually start with our React fundamentals. Notice like the emulator is like completely clean, so there's nothing going on there yet. Components. So the component is like you're building, just like the building block of your application. Components usually encapsulate some type of UI logic. Your app, like big apps, are comprised of multiple components working with each other and talking to each other. So we're going to make a simple hello world component. So everything that you do with React Native needs to be within some type of container. In this case, the basic container for all React apps is called the view. So the view container is being weird. Okay, so let's do safe area view actually. All right, had it in there. Okay. Whenever we do like a return value, it needs to be within that. And then it's going to ask me to take that off, but I don't want to take it out. So sometimes you just got to push through the rules. There is a way to adjust the rules and work with it, but that takes it takes a few hours to actually set this up. So I'm just gonna write it out within it. So this is our first simple component. So we're gonna do the text property does not exist. It's telling me that because I need to import the actual component. And so just like we're importing save view here, we also need to import the text from React. All right, cool. So the text component is just a text. It's just something that we can put text on it. But this in itself is not necessarily a component. So let's just make a custom component that says hello world. So the way the signature method that I use for that is something like that. So constant keyword, constant, you name it something. So let's say hello, or actually we'll call it message. We'll call that message. That's gonna have an arrow thing, then parentheses, another arrow thing. Oh, actually this is just equals and this is the arrow. And then brackets, and then this is returning something. And so that's what functional components are. It returns something instead of creating a whole class of it. And then I can just copy and paste this whole thing into there. And it's complaining to me about all the different check-ins, so that'll take care of itself. So I could just like hover over to put fix and then fix all the problems. All right, cool. Now I have my component here, and this red wiggly thing is really annoying because it's telling me that it's being red because it's telling me that the variable is not used. But I don't really like that, so let's change that. And then that's actually a rule. I don't remember the rule, so let me just copy and paste whatever that message is. So message is assigned a value. So it's this one right here. So I'm gonna copy and paste this because I don't want this. I don't want it to be red. If anything, it should just be a warning, not an error. Okay, cool. There is a website with a documentation on how to set up your rules. We're not gonna go over all that, but the one that I want is this. So we're gonna set in our ESLint file that React provides for us. We're gonna copy and paste these rules. So we got rules, and then that is gonna go in here. All right, cool. And now it's complaining because it should be single quotes. All right, cool. So any other rules that we want, we'll put it in here, but we're not gonna work with that too much. We just don't have time for all that. All right, cool. So instead of being red, now it's just say warning if this thing's not being used. Let's go back to our emulator, and then now we're gonna call this component, this message component, from within this app thing. And to do that, it's just we're gonna open up a tag and then pass in the name of our component message, just like that. Okay, cool. And so this is how we're gonna build components. So you can make components with a small text view that just displays text, or you can make components for big screens, which is what we're gonna do. Which is what we're gonna be doing a little bit. All right. So that was our first component. Get rid of that. Okay. So we go back to React fundamentals. That's where the component is. It's just a tag with the name of the component and then whatever it is that's supposed to go in there. So in this case, it's just text. So inside of it needs to go text. All right. JSX. JSX is just putting brackets inside those components so that you can pass in variables. Because if we go back to our component and let's say we have something like this, right? So let's message the hello world. We can't pass that. What are you complaining about? Did you mean message? Oh, probably not use that. Okay, that message. I had it with low capital. So let's mention. So how we can pass this into here? Single quotes. Gotta get used to that. All right. So we can't just pass in message, right? So it's not gonna work like that. So if we want to pass in like data or like variables like that, we have to open up brackets and then pass. Then now we recognize it. Hello world message. So hello world message, and then we go back to our emulator, and you see it says right there hello world message. So that's basically what JSX is. Just put in the brackets inside your component, pass in data. All right, cool. Is everybody good so far? Any questions, concerns, curiosities? Yeah, we're good. All right. Good stuff. So that's JSX. Gives you like a TypeScript definition too. All right, custom components. React Native provides a lot of like building little pieces of different components for us. For instance, like text component, and we also have a view component. But what if you want to make your own component with different views and different properties? Basically, a custom component is just a combination of all the building components that we already have. In this example, they're combining a text view with a text input with some styling. So instead of me doing an example like that, we can start diving into our actual application, start building the components, the custom components that we're going to be utilizing for our application. So we look up our Figma. This text input is not something that React Native provides right out of the box for us, so we had to build it. I want a text input where there's a text at the top and has some type of input with round edges, a gray background, something like that. This signing button will also be a component, and we can even make a component out of it. So the purpose of the custom components is so that it is reusable, so that you can use it throughout the app and not have to repeat logic every single time. So let's build our input component. In here, we're gonna create another folder. I'm gonna keep it organized, so we're gonna call this components. Inside this component, we're gonna make another file, and we're gonna call this, I'll call it custom import. TXX TypeScript, React Native TypeScript. Okay. Now it's complaining to me that it's red because there's nothing on top. So whenever we create a new file that's going to use React stuff, we have to have this at the very top. Import React, and there's this red wiggly line is complaining about the end of file space. Not really sure, but the way to get rid of that is just to change this to LF, and then it'll stop complaining. There is a way to disable it within using those files, but it's just going to take too long, and it's not worth the effort right now. All right. So what's the signature definition for a custom component that we had to import from another file? The easier way to do it is to say export, because we're going to export this component. Let me see actually, because I need to remember how it is. So it'll be export constant. Okay, yeah. So we're exporting the constant, and this is going to be given the same name as your file, custom input. I'm going to open that up, and then this is going to return something, right? Some GSX or another component. Right now, let's just have it to where it's returning something. And when we're building custom views, it is a very good idea to have it within a container. And in this case, the container is the view component. So this custom view right here from the documentation, everything that's in here, it's within a view. So the view is the building block for our custom components. It's like your blank canvas that will contain everything in it. Okay. Back here. So I want to have a view. And there. Okay. Within this view, I want a text view that's going to display something, right? So let me say email, right? And it's complaining to me because I need to import this from React Native. So not React Native types. I don't know why it shows me that. So I have a view component, and then I also want a text component, right? So all this red stuff is just styling. Okay, cool. It'll do it. It'll fix it up for you. Okay. Now that we got this far, I want to go over the building components that React provides for us. So let me clean this up a little bit. All right. So if I look for, let's say, the text component, right? Text component React Native. And I click on it, it tells me how I should use the text component. And we still haven't talked about props, but we're going to get into it like right now. But everything that you need to know about different components, just Google it, and then it'll tell you how to use it. Like in this case, you have text, and then inside of the text, inside this component goes text. So there's but the one that I want is some type of input, right? So, and then React Native provides that for us. It's called the text input. Text input. It tells you like a little description of what it should be used for. But what I want is this whole thing right here. I'm gonna copy and paste this because That's like usually the easier way to build your components. Just go off the official documentation. And this is always on the way. And then can I put it on the side? No. Okay, stick. All right. So I want my text input to be right below that label, and that's going to be called label. I'm going to that. I have to import it. Text inputs. All right. Now it's giving me some red errors, and that's because we have not implemented the unchanged text and the text and the style. So each component that we're going to be working with has a lot of props. The props are it's short for prop properties. So those properties are the properties that we're going to be utilizing to change the state of our individual components. In this case, this prop right here called the unchanged prop can go down there. And we're going to learn how to build, how to do custom props too. But the ones that are already built in for us are pretty useful as well. So what is the name of that unchanged text? So if you hold over to it, it tells you exactly what that is. So the unchanged text, a callback that will take in the input and then check for changes, and it'll update it for us. And the type of that is a function. So when we declare this prop on our text input, the thing that we need to pass in is a function. If we go take a look at our value prop, and that's supposed to be a text. So value prop, we click on here. So the value prop is just the whatever input that that text input is getting, and what we should pass to it is a string. All right, cool. And there's a bunch of props. Like there's a lot of things you can do. You can do with your text input. You can make it autocomplete. You can make it autocorrect. You can say if it's editable. You can make it be. You can make it have a default value. There's a lot of good stuff that it already provides out of the box for us. Now going up here, right? So we have those red little squiggly things, and it's because we don't have those things declared. I'm gonna take this off for a second because now I want to talk about the React hooks and how it is that we're passing in this data. So in the example right here, it has this method definition right here. What happened? Okay. Oh crap! You can actually mess around with this, right? So we're going to copy that and we're going to declare here, and then we're going to go over. So this is what a React hook is. Where are you at? Oh. We can clean this up a little bit. So we don't have to put in the React in front as long as we have this, and then we import it from React. So we have to update the import. So we're using this hook right here. All right, so let's talk over it. Let's talk a little bit about this. Notice this definition is it's a little weird at first, but it'll make sense. So what we're doing with this we're utilizing the use state hook. That this is the actual React hook. If we go to the documentation real quick, so let's go over that because I'm gonna stick with for documentation. So use state. Okay, documentation is your best friend. Let's see if it tell you what exactly is. So here. Okay, so yeah, so a hook is a special function that lets you hook into the React features. It's kind of big actually, but this is like the use state hook is like the basic hook that we're going to be using. It is pretty useful. Like you could build your entire app with just using use states. And what that hook is doing, it's going to ask us to provide a variable, in this case the text, and then we also have a method or a function associated with that. That function, it's going to be the one that's going to change the state of that text. And then the use state is going to ask us for some type of default value. So in this case, useless text, which is going to change that to an empty string. Okay. Yeah. So the unchanged text, we're passing in this unchanged text into here, so that whenever we take in the input for like from the UI, then that's going to change and give us the new value. And actually, we can play around with that right now. So we're going to call this into our app here. And we're going to actually, I don't want to have parentheses there. I don't know where it keeps taking that off. Okay, so right underneath here, I'm going to import my custom component. All right, so I'm going to go import. I want the name of my component, which is custom inputs. Hopefully it's going to read it there. Yep, custom input. And lucky for us, it's already grabbing it from the correct place. This is just styling. No, actually, I'm not going to do that right now. And then from here, I'm just going to call in my function. But you know what? Before I do that, this needs to have some type of parent view that can contain everything. This safe view, the difference between this and the actual view is like the safe view will calculate the screen of your emulator for you, and it'll make sure that all your components are within the frames of that screen. So it's not like looking cut off or anything like that. All right, so from here, we're going to call in the custom input component, my custom input component. And hopefully it'll show up in there. And then now we're having an issue. And okay, so this happened to me earlier. I don't know why, but the very first time that I'm importing something, for some reason, React just doesn't read it. So I need to actually restart the app and then have it run it again. So I'm going to uninstall this. Yeah, go ahead and uninstall. So whenever you uninstall and redo everything again, let me close all this stuff out. Let me do a cleanup one here. Because the more stuff I have running, the more overhead it is. So I don't need this anymore. All right, cool. Now that I'm here, I'm going to run this app again. Because you see, Visual Studio is not giving me any issues. Like it is recognizing this, but for some reason, actual React is not. So I'm just going to run it again. npm run naturally. Hopefully it's not going to, yeah, it should not take a long time again to get started. All right, cool. So now you see the label right there, and then if you click over it, there's a supposedly custom text input there. But there's nothing going on. It's because we have not added any styling or anything like that. But it's there, and it's somewhat functional. So let's experiment with this a little bit. So if I do a console log, just to see how that changes, and then I just pass in that text variable, right? Console log will just print stuff to the console. So right now it's just log. So there's nothing in it. But let's say I put something in there. I don't know. I'm gonna say car. You see how the value is changing? So that's what the use state does for us. So we don't have to set something like use something like this state or anything like that you would normally do with classes. So this is already taken care of for. This is already taking care of that for us. And React hooks sometimes it's a little bit tricky, so it just takes time to get used to it. But they're really powerful and useful. All right. Now let's give this some styling. How do we give styling? So most of the components really they have a style prop. So we pass in style, and then we give it like a JSX brackets, and then we do something. So we're gonna create a style sheet. Actually, yeah, let's do that before I start messing with it. And if you're familiar with CSS, this is gonna look really similar. So we're gonna create a styles variable, and then that's gonna be style sheet. This is how we do our styling. So style sheet, it's a building object that we get, and then this building object has a method called create, and then within this create we're gonna make all our styling. So let's say that I want to make a styling for I don't know, for the text. So I can just say something like text style, and then open up brackets, and then in here it's just like regular CSS. We need font size. Yeah, font size. We can give it like, I don't know. Let's give it 20. Font family. We can give it some type of font family. It doesn't give you the options, but I'm just gonna do color. I don't know. Let's give it black. I'm not sure if this is gonna let me do it like this without the hex symbol, but just to be safe, actually, it's not a equals. It's those things right there. I don't know how those are called. Okay, let me get the hex value, the black hex value. Okay. I'm gonna copy that and we're gonna put it in here. All right. Is that it? Yeah, that should be it. Okay. And now into our text component, we're going to pass in the style. So style equals going to be styles text style. All right, cool. That made it really big. Okay. Actually, I'm going to reduce that size to 15. Okay. So that's how we provide styles to any like component. But we also want to provide style to this text input. So we'll give it another, another styling here. So let's say input style. Okay. I want some type of border radius. So in this case, let's see. I already had something set up like that, so I'm going to cheat a little bit and look at the styling that I have for the button. All right, so style, I want to give it a border radius. So a border radius. Okay, so border radius of 20. What else do I want to give it? I want to give it a background color, and the background color is going to be like a light gray. So let me look at light grades. That's actually put it right here. Light gray text code. Okay. That in there. All right, and then what else do I want to give it? I'm going to give it a height, maybe. Yeah, so like a height of, I don't know, 50 dp. That's usually what it is, like dp. Then I want to justify the content. That just means I'm going to put it right in the center. So justify content center. And then I want to align the items so that it's all right in the center. Center. Oh, cool. This is just styling stuff. All right, so if I go back to the component, there's nothing in it yet. And that's because I did not pass the style prop into it. So it'll be style, and then we're looking at styles, the input style. All right. Cool. So yeah, so this is our very first custom input, just a view that has a text and a text input. Yes. Yeah, there is. So what you will want to do for that is you will probably want to create like a styles folder in here, or like a style, like a style file, and then you could declare all your styles in there, and then import the specific one that you want to use. So that way you don't have to do it on every single screen. We can Google it real quick, see how that looks like. So in one file area, you probably separate styles from components. Actually, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's try that. So let's create a file called, well, not inside the components. So let's see, create a file called styles, and that's going to be a TypeScript style, or would it have to be JS? I don't know. Let's see. No, it would have to be a React type. My computer is crapping out. How to manage files? Let me finish up a little bit. Take it out. All right. So what we could do is do exactly that. We can grab this. So hopefully it works. I haven't actually done it, but there's definitely a few different ways you can do this. So instead of doing that, and then we can do export, we're passing in all the styles. Let me fix this autocorrect, and it's complaining to me because I did not pass in the React. I did not pass in this React, and then the style sheets. Or maybe I don't need the React. I don't know. Let's see. I think down here now. Okay, and then I just want this style sheets. And then I wonder why it's doing that. No, it's just this. That's annoying thing here. change that to left. Okay, so yeah, it looks like I don't need this up here. Cool. So yeah, we can have this file with all our style in, and then whenever we want to use it, all we have to do is just import that file. So we have to be import, what names did we give it? Styles, yep, import styles. Styles, from styles, yes. Why are you complaining? Oh, it's just a formatting? No. Okay. No, it's complaining because I already have it declared on them. So I have to delete this. And if I delete this, okay, it seems like that works. Yeah, that did it. That was a good call. So we can put everything in here. Good stuff. All right, cool. Is everybody okay? Does anybody have any questions so far? We're good. All right. Okay, cool. So we have our component there. Don't want it super, it's like taking up the whole space. And so what I want to do, make a little bit of styling with the actual component. So we're gonna do that on the view. So we go up here. Let's give it some style to our input text, not input text. Yeah, so input container. And then the input container is going to have some type of padding. We're going to center that. We're going to justify and align the contents to be at the center. Yeah, I think that's not how it's. Oh, actually, no. Input style. Yeah, let's try that. See if that works. Because I don't want it super taking up the whole screen. Or I can just give it. Actually, yeah, I can just give it a width. So if I give it a width, there you go. Oh, you can either give a number or you can also do a percentage. So in this case, let me do a percentage to where it only takes up, I want to say like 80% of the screen. And that might be helpful too when you're dealing with different screen sizes. So if I do 80%, I'll fix the styling. Okay, and then so we'll put that into the view. So style, styles, input container. And okay, cool. So yeah, that did reduce that, but it's still right there, pushed to the side. So I do need to center it. And I think if I just copy and paste this and put it into here, that should work. Maybe no, that didn't work. So instead of, I can just do align contents instead of justify contents. That would now this still messing with it. So let me, how about take this one out? No, okay. We'll try something different. We'll do padding. We're gonna do padding left. We'll give it 45. Okay, and then we'll do a padding of right, so it balances out. Or maybe I don't need to do a padding right. Yeah, let's try padding left. Works fine. By making that smaller. Okay, we'll keep it at that for now. All right. So let's just throw in some style into our custom component. Now, the next thing that we want to do is, so how do I make it to where it's reusable? So where we can like use the same thing like multiple times and then we just change some things. That's where props come into place. So we look at the documentation, how every component has some props. So we had to give this, our custom component, some props. Let's see, when we go down here to the React fundamentals, it tells you how that usually goes, right? So they have this little add custom component, and then how we want to declare our components is right at the top. We'll use the keyword type. We'll give it a name, and then we're going to declare the different properties that this component is going to utilize. So in this case, if we go back to our thing, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, we'll declare this at the top. And so we're going to say type. It should be custom custom inputs props, short properties, and this is equals to. Okay. So what do I want here? I want label, right? So I want label. Label. And what kind is that label going to be? That's just going to be a string. Just like that. I think it's now. So let me just, I'm going to close this stuff. I'm going to close that up. I'm going to close that up. I'll keep the thing out. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay. So back to this. We're going to do a quick fix. Fix all the. All right. So how are we going to pass this? Where am I going to put this thing? So that'll go inside that little parenthesis in there. So we're going to declare a variable called props, and this is where TypeScript is starting to creep into us. So we're going to declare props, and what type props is going to be? So it's going to be custom input props. Custom input props. Oh wow, my computer's really slow. Come on. Okay, we have custom input props, and now here, instead of having this hard-coded string, I'm going to have props and whatever that label field is going to be. Props that label. Now, as soon as we do that, we're going to have an error here in our app, TSX. Why? Because this input is expecting us to have a label input in there, right? So that's required. If we wanted to make this optional, the way to do that is when we're declaring our prop properties, all we have to do is just put in a question mark. So that is just going to tell it, hey, this is an optional, it doesn't have to go there. But in this case, we want to require that label in there. So we're going to go to app, going back with the warning, and so we had to pass in label. So that label that we had before, it's gone. And so our label now is going to be label equals whatever I want it to be, which is going to be a string. So that first input box is going to be like email. I think I had it. And it's just going to refresh, and then we see email right there. Good, cool. So we need another input for our password. So we'll do custom inputs. It's gonna get another input in there, and then instead of email, it's gonna be password. Password. All right. I'm gonna fix this styling in here a little bit. Fix it. All right, cool. We want this input, this password input to actually be a password, right? Because if we like put in stuff, it's not like hiding it or anything. So we need to give it another property. We can give it a Boolean property to say that if this is password, then hide the text, right? So we'll go back to our custom inputs. So we're gonna add another property into it. So we're gonna call this is password. Need to invest in a new laptop. Okay, so is password, and that's going to be a Boolean type. As soon as that shows, okay. Boolean. And we can actually make this one an optional because it doesn't really have to be there unless we want to specifically specify that this is a password input. So if we put that there, then we are good to go in the front. Right. For this label though, we want to have it to be a password. So we're going to pass in that is password. It's going to show up right there. We're going to tell it that this is true. All right, because this is a password here. And I think it shows up, yeah, it's just because my computer's kind of slowing down. All right, cool. Now notice that we type in here, still not changing. So there's something else that we need to do after setting up that is password prop. We had to actually go into the component that we're utilizing into, and then we had to pass in its own property. So secure text entry, and that is going to be our props. No, props that is password, and that's going to be an input Boolean type. And so now that it is password true, I think you're just going to have to go back and forward with it running. You open up the terminal and terminal. Is there a way to hide this? There is over here. Yeah. All right, that's better. Okay, I'm gonna run our app again. Right, cool. So we type in something in here, so email, and then here it should be hidden. So email, there you go. So that's our hidden text input, and I think that's pretty much all that we want really for this component. And so now we can reuse it, and then the only props that we have basically is just label and is password. All right. Good. That's now custom inputs. There might be some other stuff that we have to change here, but we'll get back to that. All right. So now that we have that, let's go back into the Figma and see what else we have going on. All right. So the next thing that we need to do is build this button. So there's going to be another component. I'm going to call this custom button. All right. We are going to. So I cannot already build this, so I'm going to go into GitHub real quick. Actually, no, screw it. I'm going to make it. All right. So we're going to import the React. Import React, just like that. Change this to left. Okay, put that in there. And then we're going to make our custom component. So export constant custom button. All right. And then this is going to return something. We'll create this within a view. Now, React Native already provides a button component for us, but that button component is really inflexible. You can't do a lot with it. So you can't really give it a lot of styling. It just looks the same throughout, no matter what you do. And it doesn't really have a lot of props. I mean, it's just like it's always going to look like this. So instead, what we're going to use is another component called touchable opacity. With this touchable opacity, it just means that whatever that component that we're building is going to be touchable. And let's see right here, they have a whole custom button component built already. So as a matter of fact, I can actually copy and paste this. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to use this same one that we have in there. Okay. Put that in there, and then so the styling. Copy and paste the styling of that too. So we have container, down container. Oh, we don't care about the count. We just want this container and then the button. And we're gonna throw that into the styles folder. Yeah. And we need to import styles in here. So I'm gonna grab this import, and throw that into here. All right. Now the stylings went away. Count container. I don't need this count in here, so that can go. Okay. Now we gotta import the views, import the components from React into another image. Well, I'm gonna have it right here actually. All right. And then the other one that I want is the touchable opacity. Touchable opacity. All right. This is not. Oh, let me call that in here. So let me import that. So import custom button. then it'll do it for me automatically, which is nice. All right. I'm gonna call in the custom button. It doesn't have any props or anything yet. So property onPress does not exist. And that's because we have not passed anything into there. So I'm just gonna take that out for now. And so right now it just looks really ugly. But we're gonna fix that. There should be a text in there, but I don't see it. So maybe it's just we're gonna take off this flex. The flex, what it does is just like takes up the whole screen. Okay, there it is. Padding horizontal. Let me do a padding top so it doesn't look too close to the text input. So we're gonna do padding top of 10. Okay, so a little too close. So let's do padding 20, and then we're gonna fix all of it. So padding. All right, cool. Now the button, we want to give it a different color. So it's whatever color we have in the Figma. I don't remember the name, but if I call over it, don't want to do that. That's going to be FFFC. You can also make a file with all the colors that you're going to be utilizing, so you're not doing this, but that should be good. All right. So we open up here, there's a different color. And just like our custom input, we don't want it to just be onPress. We want to give it a name. And so this is what we're going to do with this. So we went over type, but there's another way of declaring this, and that's using an interface. So it's going to look something like this. So interface, button, props. And the reason why we're using interface instead of type is because we want to inherit all of the properties of the touchable opacity into our custom button. So when you're doing type, you're basically just telling, hey, this component only takes this props, nothing else. But when you're doing interface, you can use the components from touchable opacity into your custom button. So that's what we're going to do. That's like the big difference between user interface and types. I think I have something similar. Is it just cheating a little bit? Okay, so yeah, so that'll be extends, and then you have to pass in whatever component it is that you're like inheriting from. So touchable opacity props. Yes, there is. So touchable opacity props, and then the only thing that I really want in here, it's the label, right? So I'm going to say label, and that's going to be a string, and then that's all that I want. And then why are you complaining? It's because of styling. Okay, there you go. All right, so instead of having press text there, it's just going to be the props. No, oh, I had to put it in here. So props, and that's going to be of type button props. All right, so props that label. All right, now there's nothing there, so we got to go back into here, and then we're going to pass in that props, those props. Let's see, let me stop a little bit. All right, and then what I want is to grab the text input. Actually, no, it's not text input. It's a label. Yeah, label. And then this is going to be signing. It needs to be a string. Sign in. Okay. There you go. And since we inherit all the properties of the touchable opacity, we can use those properties in here. So if we look at the documentation for touchable opacity, we have, it seems like it has like really limited properties, but this is because this component itself is inheriting from this other component right here. So touchable without feedback. So if we open that up, so there's like a triple inheritance going on here. So this is the grandparent, this is the parent, and then our component is the children, is the child. And we can use all these components, I mean, all these props, because we utilize interface instead of type. So what we want to implement is an onPress component. So onPress, I think that's an onPress, you see it right there. And so the onPress takes in a function. So whenever we press on it, something will happen, you know, some type of event. And the thing, there is something up here. onPress. Yeah, so right now we don't have anything. So I'm just gonna grab this. We're gonna be using that down the line. Let's see, I'm just gonna throw that in here. This is really not doing anything. So it's just empty for now. Nothing going on. I was expecting something. Can I just do that? Yep. And so we'll put that in there. Okay. So our variable onPress, it's a function, but it looks like a JSX, but it's really a function. You can do it either way. You can either do a function declaration just like this asset over there, or do this signature definition. I prefer this most of the times, just to keep consistency. Same way. All right. So we click on it, nothing's happening. All right, cool. We're gonna start implementing that in a little bit. All right. Now we're gonna deal with some images. We want this image, and then we want the title also, image title. So I need to grab this image somehow. Let's see if I can. Can I? Oh yeah. Export. I'm not very good with it. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So I want that, and then I also want this. Okay. And I think that's my downloads folder. I'm not sure. Okay, cool. All right. This is, I'm gonna rename this to be something more meaningful or easier to remember, like beer. And this is going to be drinking. Cool. I'm gonna throw that into our folder. And we're gonna create a folder called assets. So usually your assets folder or something like images, colors, and then that you use throughout the app a lot. Easier way to do that is just like drag and drop. So you grab that in here and then you put it right in there. Now you grab this one and then you throw it right in there. All right, looking something. Now, how do we deal with images? We'll use a component that I want an image, and I also want a title, right? So I tried doing this before, making it into a custom component, but for some reason it didn't work. So images are really weird when it comes to that. So the best way to do something simple like that is just like do it inside your file like this. So I have a view, and then this view is gonna contain an image component, and then this right underneath this image component we have a text component. So you can think of this as like a custom view, but for some reason this image component is really fussy when it comes to like making it like a custom one. So I'm just gonna keep it in here for now. Now, how do we get the actual image? So we need the property for this image. And while I'm doing this, let me just go ahead and close this out so it's not taking up so much RAM. I'll rerun it again when we're done. All right. So I need the image component from React. Image component, image React Native. All right, image right there. Okay, so for the image, we need to pass in a style, and then we have to pass in the source of our image. And let me get this source first. So source, and that's going to require, and that's going to be the path of our file. So I think that's going to be that, and open that. I'm going to say assets. Oh, wait, it has to be in here. Okay. I'm gonna open that up. All right, cool. So we're looking at components in the assets folder. And then inside this assets folder, the one that I want is the drinking one. So drinking that PNG. And then we also need to give it a style. So I'm going to put that into here, in here. So we have image style. And for that, it's just going to be a width. Give it 150, and then a height of 150. Okay. All right. Let's see, style. And that's going to be styles, image style. Okay, and why is this be complaining? View cannot find view. Oh, because I need to import. Okay. All right, so that's that for the image. For the text, I wanted to have some type of. Oh well, the text is just straight up the text, so it'll be the name of the app, my drinking. Oh. All right. Cool. This view can stay right there, but we'll also need to give it some type of styling. I'll turn that off for a second. Things up. We're not using this custom stuff in simply because I need a comma. All right, npm run Android. Yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. So we have our image. Now I'm going to center this. I don't want it right in there. So we're going to do image container. This early stages, it's a lot of styling. It's kind of like front end development, almost the same thing. Image style. So I want to do a padding top of 50%. Padding top adjusted by counter center. Center. And then the last one is allowing content center. Fix this down. All right, cool. Now that is going to go into our view. So style, styles, image container. Should get in center. No, it's not center. It's not center. We didn't move anything. We have to reload. Let's see, styles, justify contents, line contents. Line center. Oh. Everything's not cooperating. Let's view, brand view. All right, we can do something else. In the padding left. 45. Move in a little bit line. Put everything. This is not good practice, by the way, just like hardcode and stuff, but for the purpose of this workshop, so I don't have to, so we don't get stuck doing UI stuff forever. Oh, that's it. One second. All right, good enough. Now we also need to adjust this button a little bit. So what I'm going to do is do padding left of 45, and then padding right 45. Or actually, that needed to be in the container, not input container. No, not input container. Yeah, so container. Oh, yeah, has to be up there. Not here. Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll do. Actually, probably make it a little bit more smaller. Well, the UI is not perfect, but it'll do for now. All right, cool. So we're here. To make we go back to refinement. To make the register, it's basically kind of similar. So we're gonna do this again. We're gonna go in here again. We're gonna go in here again. We're gonna do the same components again. We're gonna reuse this, and we also need to make this text. So before we move on to this, what I want to do is set up the navigation for how we're gonna navigate through our app. I'm gonna make this real quick. We're gonna make this real quick, and then we're gonna set up navigation, and then we'll wrap up that. Okay. Okay, so that's just gonna be like a view with a text. So I'm just gonna make it here. I'm gonna be view. So that's gonna be a text. So the first thing is a text, right? So don't have an account, right? And we also need another text, but that text needs to be clickable. So we're gonna use touchable opacity again. I'm gonna put it on here. Touchable opacity. So within this touchable opacity, we're gonna have a text that's gonna say sign up. Okay, so this is clickable, but this is like underneath here. We want it all to be on the same line. And then for that, we're gonna be using some more styling. Now we need to style the container of this two texts right here. So we're gonna go into here, and we also want to put it right in the center. So we're gonna do question. Let's do question text container. I want those contents to be right in the center too. So we're gonna justify center. put it in here before I forget. So styles, that is the question text container. Cool. There is a property that will actually that will have the direction of all their children components in the same direction. I don't remember the name of it, so I'm gonna look it up. We have children in the same row. We have React Native. Okay, and there should be a CSS somewhere in here. There's styling, flex direction. So that's the one that I'm looking for. Row. Right. So that's going to set all our items in a row manner. So this sign up then is still like a little to the side. So I'm going to make, well, that clickable needs its own style in a little bit. So we'll do clickable text. Yeah, clickable text. So, that needs to be, let's give it a padding left of, small padding left of 5. And we also need a back or color, actually, that color. And that's going to be this color right here that we already used for the button. Also, I want to make it into I want to make it bold, so it's going to need to make it a font weight. I don't know what the value is for font weights. Where's the font weight? Where does font weight normal? Font weight bold. That's the one that I want. I'm gonna make that text bold. All right. Oh, well, I need to pass that in there. So it's gonna be this text, just clickable text styles. That's going to be styles, clickable text. Oh, then I the color, then let's go through. I'll put that in there, but so no, it wouldn't be background color, it was just like color, unless it's a different attribute like font color. No, it's color. Background color. No, that's not what I want. It's kind of all right. We'll worry about it later. Let's just keep going. All right. So we have our UI set up now. That well, at least just this screen. Let's go ahead and start thinking into how we're going to set up navigation. There's a pretty good package. There's a pretty nice package called React Native Navigation. And while we're doing that, let me close this up. React Native Navigation. To get started with React Native Navigation, we're gonna have to install the package. So that's when it comes in. That's where the npm package manager comes in again. So let me close this up. Inside the same folder, we're just gonna do npm install React Navigation native. Install our package. Yeah. All right, I think there's some more stuff that we need to install, like this one right here. npm React Native screens, React Native safe area context. All right. I wonder if there's anything else then we need to install in here. Nope, not really. All right. So if we go to Hello React Navigation. Okay, so there's one more thing we need to install. React Native stack. Native stack. All right. If you want to double make sure that your package is going to install correctly, you can always go back. Yeah. Yes. I think there is a native React Native package that they provide for you, but I'm not sure how to use it. So this is what I normally use for navigating between screens. So this this is the only thing that I know how to do. Yeah, there is. The thing with that though is like you had to like build. You basically had to build it from scratch, like the navigation from the ground up. If you wanted to implement like a bottom bar navigation, which is what we're gonna do today too, you had to do it from scratch, and it's a long tedious process. You could definitely do it. I've seen it do it a lot, and you can use the GitHub repository from these people to create your own. But for the purpose of time and complexity, I'm just gonna use this. All right, cool. And this is really, I mean, this is not like a shady third party people. Like this people are legit, and it's constantly being updated and used by a lot of developers. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to start setting this up. So ideally, this is like the simple setup that we have for the navigation. So whatever the screens are at, they need to be contained within a navigation container and the stack navigator. So within the stack navigator, that's where we're going to place all of our screens. All right, cool. So let's get this set up. First, before we do that, I want to go ahead and create a screen folder for navigation. Okay, so I'm gonna make this screens. And basically the thing that we just built here on this app is going to be the sign up screen. So let me make that file. New file. All right. This is going to be sign up.txx. And what I want to do is, well, let me import the stuff that we're using here. Put that in there. And since we're in another folder, this needs to be one more dot there. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna copy and paste all this. Need to create our constant, so expert constant sign up. This is basically like a screen is just basically like a big component. Did I copy the return value? Yeah. All right, cool. So now that we have this here, I can actually, instead of having this, I can import that sign up. Okay. All right, and then let me just call that in here. Oh crap, sign up. All right. And then from here, we're going to do return. And then we're just going to call in this sign up screen. I'm going to clean all this up. We don't need this message thing anymore. We take that off. All right, let's go ahead and run it up, see how it's looking like. Jesus, that's like 10 minutes. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, no, what's going on? What is this? Why? Only return. All right, so we have our sign up here. Let's see. So the sign up seems fine. I don't know why it's not letting me just pass this sign up in there. Hmm. All right. I think it's not going to let me do it like that. All right, we're going to set up navigation. So this little example basically provides two screens, a home screen and a details screen. And then this is navigating between the two. The first thing that we want to do when we're dealing with TypeScript and navigation is to create a file, like I said, that's going to basically tell our app, these are the valid screens that you should only navigate to. So let me get a folder called navigation. And within this folder, I'm going to make a folder name. What do I name it? Navigation. Okay, so this is going to cheat a little bit. Okay, so screen types, TSX. All right. So inside this screen types, we're going to import some other files. And for that, we're going to go into React Native navigation TypeScript. Type checking with TypeScript. All right. What we want first is basically this whole definition here. So I want to import this, because this is going to create props for us. All right, and then it's going to look something really similar to this. So it'll be type. As a matter of fact, I want this whole thing. All right, so in here, we're going to declare our screens. Let me change the name of this to screen props. Okay, and then we don't need that profile anything. It's just going to be all the screens. When you're declaring your screens, you can also declare like individual fields that your screen is expecting. But in this case, that could be like adding a little bit more complexity into your project. And so for that, we're just going to pass in an empty bracket. When we're passing in an empty bracket, we're basically telling React Native, hey, listen, don't spend any variables. We're going to have stuff in there, but don't ask us for anything else. And it's actually okay. There's no issues doing that. All right, so I have a home screen. No, yeah, so we have a home screen. Well, first let's do a sign up screen, and then we can do a login screen. Login. And so those are the only screens that we have right now. So we'll stick to that for now. All right, cool. Now that we have this set up, we can start building in our navigation stuff. All right, so what do we need? We need to create a navigation container. So we have to import that from navigation React Native. We're gonna have it in here, put that in there. Fix that in there. Okay, so the other thing that we need is to create a navigation stack. So the navigation stack basically is a stack of our screens. That's what it is, really. And then we don't have to use the native one. We'll use the one that we install from the package. Oh, the stack native. Never mind. I'm going to copy that. All right, cool. And okay, so what else do we have to do? Now we need to create a stack. So I want this thing right here. Okay. It's going to create a stack. And the next thing that I want is actually, oh yeah, well, that's what I want for now. So we're gonna encapsulate all our screens within the navigation container. Then that navigation container has the stack of screens. So let me copy and paste this, because that's very similar to what I want to do. Throw it all in here to the end. All right, formatting issues. All right. So this has a initial routes name, which is going to be, in this case, not home. It needs to be login. login screen. And then here, this is going to be the name of this screen is going to be login. And then we're passing in our actual screen component, our login component, the one that we already have. Login. Or actually, no, sign up. What did I name it? Did I name it sign up or login? Or do I have sign up? No, this should not be sign up. This should be login. Okay. No data imports, yes. Not sign up, login. Export console login. Okay. All right, so it's recognizing my screen right there. And I don't have that screen yet, so I'm going to take it off. All right. Let's see how the app is looking. So React Native cannot be found within the project of this directories. Are you not? I'm not entirely sure why it's doing that. What is the issue? Okay, so you're complaining about native tag. Doing so that I created that. Or package, it's not the one that I want. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have that. Okay. Unable to resolve module. It's not finding that into no, that's weird. So I have to reinstall it again. It's in there. Why are you not recognizing the package? All right, let's see. I'm gonna have to look up this specific problem real quick. Sorry about this. I wonder if this is the correct one. This is the one that I just installed. Here we go, this one. Shouldn't take long this time. If it's still not recognizing, we'll go into APIs and figure and show you guys how to like get data from like API calls. So I can get this navigation stuff to go in. At least we can get that in. Hmm. Okay, well, this is a different issue now. And let's complain about this. Okay, cool. Seems like I just need to restart. All right, so we have the navigation set up. We have our first screen, which is just login. Now what we're gonna do is let's try to where if we click the sign up button, we can move into the actual sign up screen. And for that, we're gonna have to make a quick sign up screen. Let's see. So components, they don't have a screen, navigation screen up. Screen just right here. So we're gonna create sign up. All right. And this is just gonna be something real simple. So for now, we'll copy and paste this message, put that in there, and then this is going to be no. This needs to be export, and then we're gonna grab in this React events. Change that to the left. Need the correct imports. All right. Let's see how we want to do it. So we have a sign up there, but we are in login first. So what we need to do is, in order to navigate into another screen, we need to pass in this navigation. And this navigation is going to be of type, it's going to be of type screen props, the one that we just created. So import screen props. What's going on? I forgot to export this. So this needs to be export. All right. Import the screen props. Okay. Oh, I'm in the app. I'm in the wrong one. I should be here. Import screen props. There we go. All right. So this is going to be type screen props. All right. So now what we're going to do is whenever we press on this, we should move into the next screen. So we're going to do on press because this is a touchable opacity. So we're going to pass in this. Now that we have this right here, so we're going to do navigation. That's navigate. Hold on, let me look at the documentation and see how they have it set up. Moving between screens, all right. So we have a navigation type, so it'll be navigation, navigate, then whatever, then the name of the screen. So did I, oh, I see. So this needs to be like this. All right. Okay, so we can say something softer. Let's just pick it up now. No, that's not what that is. Let's take a look at the TypeScript definition again. So navigation. TypeScript. So checking. So once we have that, route navigation and props. All right. Then we do navigation. We're actually going to throw that in here. All right. And instead of details, though, this needs to be sign up. Okay. And get rid of this. We're not set up this yet. And now this is complaining about something. Probably navigation does not exist on screen pops, which is weird. Don't remember exactly what this is for. Why would you say that? Let's see. What's no? I don't remember seeing that before, but if we try that out now. So if we click on the sign up, now we have an issue. Navigate with the loading, sign up. So I don't have screen names. Just rename something else. Let's see, screen types. Oh, I see the issue. I did not declare that down here. So I had to, sorry about that. We have a stack screen and we had to put that in there down here. All right. So this is not going to be login. This is going to be sign up. And then we have to pass in the actual component sign up. So we got to import sign up. Okay. Sign up. And then that'll sign up. Okay. Now we click on here. It should take us to sign up. And then the navigation is nice because it has a building back button in it as well. All right. Before we close this out, I want to show you guys how to make an API call and how to handle the data that we get from it. And from that, let's do that here in this app right here. So my plan was for to be able to show you guys authentication, how to put in an input in there, and then make sure that the user is authenticated. That way, if the user is authenticated, then we move on into the main screen. But I don't think we're gonna have a lot of time for that. So let me show you guys how to handle that. Got like 5 minutes. All right. I'm going to use I'm going to borrow this from React Native. So React Native provides all that's how to handle the APIs for us, like already out of that. So React Native, the one that I'm looking for is import. Okay, so networking. So we're gonna graph this. The one that I want. It's this one right here. So this whole method already handles the API call, whatever endpoint is. So this endpoint right here, if we click all over and we open it. So this endpoint right here returns just like 4 random movies, I guess. And the way to handle that into app is by calling in this we're calling in this method. This method is a asynchronous transaction. An asynchronous transaction and all type of different technologies means that it's happening in the background. So it's not interrupting the UI thread. So it's all happening in the background threads. What we want to do is have a constant variable called response. That response is gonna have the keyword await, which is just saying, hey, wait for this data to process. We're gonna call in the fetch, and then into the fetch method, we're passing in the actual API endpoint. So if you guys actually get to start working with mobile development or front-end development, usually you have a back-end team that will provide you this endpoint for you. So this is not something that we necessarily need to build ourselves. Once you have that response, then you can convert that into a JSON. So you do await response.json. And this is really all that you need, because we'll go ahead and if we do console.log, and then we do a JSON to see what exactly it is that we're getting. And if you go into your console, let's go ahead and reload this. All right, and then nothing's happening because I'm not calling that. Okay, so yeah, that's another really good point. Where do we actually call this, right? React provides a hook for us, another hook called useEffect. So this useEffect hook will run some type of event every time that you move into the page or every time you reload the page. So in this case, whenever we go into this, what's happening here? I'm gonna do the import. Oh, okay. That's another point with hooks, is like they need to be called inside the method. They can be like outside of the scope of any method. And so we have that in there. As a matter of fact, let's grab this one too. Just realized I didn't put all this outside the actual methods. And then we throw that in there. All right, cool. So now you see every time, like I said, every time we move into here, this event will occur. So we're gonna get movies that's coming from this API endpoint. And this array that happens right after the useEffect, that's just telling React Native, hey, run this only once. Because if we don't have this in here, this is gonna run infinitely. It's gonna go into an infinite loop. All right, so if we go back here, we'll see that we are grabbing that data from the different movie sets. And once you have this, then you can just populate your UI with actual real data. So I was hoping to get to work with an authentication API point. Since we're strictly working with mobile and like this, like I said, this is kind of like doing front end work. There's this website called Dummy JSON, because this is what I was hoping to use. And this Dummy JSON provides for you a bunch of API endpoints for you to use, like for you to practice. And so there's like a bunch of different ones. So I was hoping I wanted to use user. Let's see if I can find the actual. So dummy data authorization. I can actually find the actual endpoints. Let's see. Dummy data authentication. Okay, there we go. No, it's not it. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's within document. So if you want to practice authentication, practice anything really, you can go into this website, and they will provide like endpoints for you to practice on. So this is like a quick endpoint for that. All right, we had hit our time. I don't want to keep you guys here any longer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some follow-up videos, and I'm actually going to like walk through building this whole application that I was hoping to get to today, but my computer is really slow. But yeah, I will make some follow-up videos on how to build this whole thing, and we'll be posting that into the Night Hats playlist, I hope. All right, does anybody have any questions? Anything to close out with? No, you guys are good. All right, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it.